it does mean that they have now closed the gap on Tottenham, who hold on to fourth spot despite their defeat, which we'll get onto a little bit later on. What are they, 3 points off Tottenham? And at one stage it was looking like it was all doom and gloom for Manchester United, but crucially they have picked up a win. It may not have been the best performance in the world. Certainly defensively they looked a little shaky, with Norwich scoring 2, but ultimately it's 3 points on the board and Man United back in hot pursuit.
Well, hot pursuit because everybody's sort of falling apart.
Nobody wants fourth spot, do they?
I know, Nat. And watching United, I mean, look, Cristiano's always going to make headlines because at 37, I do sometimes wonder and look at him and think, if he was like 20, 21 and he's had the season he's had with United, everyone would be raving what a great player for the future. And okay, we've all got isms at the moment. We'll all being a bit ageist against Ronaldo, but there's still a role for him, I believe. I've said it all season. I still feel there's a role for him at the football club. Fullback areas are a problem for United. They really aren't that. They're not. Darlow and Telles, and I still think there's a huge amount of improvement to be made in that area. He's delighted with the win because they're not going at you from every angle. My experience of Man United and always playing against them and then, watching them is that you were always aware from every position on the pitch they were dangerous. Mm-hmm. That's not the case anymore. And they're quite vulnerable as a team. And they look like they're going to concede goals. I mean, Norwich had a few chances yesterday. I know they got 2, but they had a few. I mean, Pukki's got his 10th Premier League goal of the season. I mean, that ain't bad, is it?
No.
He's doing pretty well.
For a team struggling.
Team rock bottom.
Yeah.
I mean, he got 11 last time he was in the Premier League. So he's nearly matched his sort of goal-scoring feats of a few years back. But there are issues, and there's huge issues in Man United. Look, what's happening off the field is clear. There's a lot of anger from the fans of the owners, and they have thrown a lot of money at the football club. It's not worked out. I think the biggest problem at the football club is people wanting to jump ship, get out. Whether it's players, because there's been a number of them. And it's not one player. It feels like they all feel they're entitled to something better than Man United. Or not all of them, because that's a bit unfair, all of them. But there's a number of players at United who I always use the phrase, think they're doing a favour to the football club. And that mentality has to change at Old Trafford. Whatever Ten Hag is going to do, I believe one of his first port of calls will be players who come here are desperate to play for this football club and will want to come here and stay here for a period of time. Well,
it's interesting you say that because obviously we saw in the last few days Nemanja Matic putting out a statement saying he was going to be leaving the club come the end of the season, yet he's still contracted to the club. It seems a slightly odd statement to make, and from what I've read, there are some sources at the club were slightly blindsided by it. They didn't expect that to come out as it did. So it does seem a little off, like you're saying, that there are some players who are just taking matters into their own hand and saying, I'm done here. I want to leave. But it's all very bizarre. But let's talk about what you were mentioning about Cristiano Ronaldo, because so much has been talked about, been written about Cristiano Ronaldo, whether or not he's the problem or whether or not he is the solution for United. Are you more in the solution camp then? But bear in mind, he scored the hat-trick. So there's Man United 2-0 up at Old Trafford against Norwich. Norwich fight back to make it 2-2. And then he goes and scores his 50th club career hat-trick. Yeah, well, look at it from Cristiano Ronaldo's perspective. How disappointed would he be of his old club? When he left, it was a club that was continually winning things, and he left to go to Madrid. Okay, so there was a standard at his football club. He's come back, and he's probably felt, I can make a difference here, I can change things, and maybe the mentality of the certain players, or there's a younger element to this team that I can help and guide. And he's probably come back and been hugely disappointed. People might go, well, he shouldn't have come to, going down the Galactico road, and United didn't need to do that. They need to buy younger players with, the future. There's nothing wrong with bringing in a great pro, someone who's achieved everything. I would never question his desire and attitude. I think he works his socks off. He's obsessed with being as fit as he can. And I think he's actually done really well this season. And I've said it all year. He is not the problem. He's far from the problem. He's someone I think you should be guiding and using and helping develop people at the football club. 37.
Yeah.
Just celebrated really his 37th
Some
birthday.
players can play to 40 now, and he's one of them.
Well, you feel like it, and you remember reading about those stats a few years ago where they did a test on him, and he had the body that was much younger. Obviously, we're going back a little while, but it was much younger than when he was being tested at that time.
It was about 23, wasn't it?
It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Overall, you look at his goals: 15 in the Premier League, 26 overall. He's often been the player this season that's had to rescue Man United, both in Europe and domestically as well.
And he's in a really average Man United team. I say average, and I'm being that's complimentary.
But then why is he often the one that's being questioned?
Because his standards are incredibly high, and he has he cannot not have a big ego. He's Cristiano Ronaldo. He's won the Ballon d'Or. He's achieved loads and loads of things in football. His accolades of what he's got and done, in trophies and honours for himself personally. How is he going to be? Do you think he's going to be a shy lad? No,
but what I mean is when Ralph Rangnick came in, everyone was saying, well, there were certain players in the Man United team that aren't going to do the defensive work that you might expect from a Ralph Rangnick side, the pressing side of things. And maybe that isn't something that Cristiano Ronaldo will do game by game, day by day type thing. But can Man United afford to have someone as a luxury?
You're
not carrying
Cristiano Ronaldo. And you can also do pressing and have a style where you're set up in a position that you can make the ball go elsewhere. You don't have to get to someone at 100 mile an hour. You don't have to do that. No. Firmino never done that at Liverpool, by the way. The wide lads do. If you look at Mane and look at Salah, they'll do it, and midfielders will do it. Firmino's never charged down and hunted down, players. He positions himself. That's just being intelligent. Why can't? I mean, I wouldn't even said Aguero had done that in most of his career for City. And some would say, well, that's why Guardiola wants to use a bit of a false nine. But generally, you don't have to have every player in your team. As long as he's in a position to force the ball elsewhere, he doesn't have to do that crazy, relentless doggies to get up and back and to a player.
Well, especially if he's bagging in the goals, as he has been doing for Manchester United this season. We mentioned his 15th Premier League goal. He's only 5 now off Mo Salah.
Did Dennis Bergkamp do it either at Arsenal? I mean, I'm serious.
I mean,
he loved to tackle, and he was quite nasty, Dennis Bergkamp. But, did Zola do it at Chelsea? All these players, and they all play pressing sides.
Yeah, but when Ralph Rangnick came in, that was the first thing everyone said, oh, well, Ronaldo won't do what Ralph Rangnick wants. But if you know that, of course, that's not what Ronaldo will do anyway. But if you know that actually what he's going to do is score goals and win you games, you can afford to allow that. And
he will do less than some, but it's not his major role in the team. And I think you can use him in a setup that certainly can still be a problem for the opposition. It isn't like you just walk past him and he just ignores it. I mean, there's others at Man United have done that, left their players.
Mm-hmm. Very, very quickly, 3 points off Tottenham then, who are in 4th spot. They do have Liverpool next and Arsenal after that, Man United. But can they actually get in to the 4th spot?
I haven't got a clue now. I haven't got a clue. What do you want me to say to the top 4?
We're giving up already.
Arsenal are throwing away every result possible. Tottenham have on a great run and before that had a bad run. And it feels like everyone's just messing it up. Have West Ham got a chance?
Well,
have West Ham. All these results are just crazy. Predicting these results around the top 4 is, I just don't know. I would make an air up, Nat. Well, you might be saying I'll do that most of the time. I actually don't know. I can't work out who. Can I really go on my hand on heart and go, they'll make it?
Yeah. Well,
not in this. This is a decision I can't even get close to.
What we can say is it's going to be exciting. And West Ham play today, of course. They play Burnley in what is a 2:15 kickoff at the London Stadium. Win that, they go above Arsenal. And if they win, actually, in fact, they could even go beyond Manchester United. So they could go up to 5th